So we've got a project in mind. It's infrastructure, maybe. It's a aid for us older-ish folks with um who now require glasses to be able to see what we're doing. Um, this is an object I made. It's a perspective cube is what I call it, because no matter what direction you point it in, the three visible sides are different from each other, which allows you to, look at the perspective of an object in 3D. What I've ended up using it for the most is a little raised work surface for working on things with fine detail, like say a small control panel. It's just a piece of printed paper laminated to the back of some clear plastic. But, when you're working on little things, cutting that out, that's it helps to have it a little closer to you. But this area is kind of small, and I wanted to make a purpose-driven stand that would work for this purpose. So I'm going to create a little elevated work surface tool. So would it be a tool? I guess it would be a tool. We're going to classify it as a tool because it serves it's a physical object that serves a purpose. That's my definition of a tool, is a physical object that serves a purpose. Yeah, it's good enough. So I want it to be bigger than this. Hey there, Editor Brian here with a quick announcement. I am toying with the idea of adding channel membership to Brian's hobbies, so I'm going to create a minimally edited version of this video, and I'll put that link down in the description along with some other details. If you're interested in that type of content, I would really appreciate feedback, even if it's just a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I work on a lot of projects that never make it to YouTube, mainly because of time constraints, or it may not be the type of stuff the rest of YouTube is interested in. I know I enjoy the live streams and other minimally edited content of the makers that I follow, and I thought we'd give this a shot and see how it goes. So thank you for watching, and back to the video. How do we go about figuring out? Let's see. I know. So that's too big. It's too big. I want it to, that works, but it needs to be a little higher off the a little higher up off the work surface, the main work surface. Let's see. So about right there. No, more than that. Yeah, about there. That much area there. What is that? That's 6.5 by 4. Can't really see that again. Yeah, 6.5 by 4. It's 6.5. 6.5 by 4. So that. So we would make that about yay high. And that's how high? 3.5, or 4. 3.5. So it's going to be 6.5 wide by 4 deep by 3.5 high. Yeah, that'll work. And we're going to make it out of Sintra. I like Sintra. I came into a big stash of it, so we're working on it. But this could be made out of really anything up to it could be 3D printed. We could make a 3D printed one. Could be made out of cardboard. Yeah, could be cardboard. But I have the Sintra, and we're going to use that. All right, so there's a piece of Sintra I'm working on. So that would be the top. So we want 4 inches. By 6.5 inches. Box knife. So the way you cut Sintra, at least the way I do it, is once I've got it marked out, I'll score it just lightly with a blade. You don't want to go too deep. You don't want to put too much pressure on it. It is really easy to get squirrely and get off your mark with this. So and stop. See, I'm off my mark. But I can fix that. I'm in that direction. And your blade will just run in the groove, and it's basically self-guiding from that point. You just want to just keep running through it with your blade until you get to, like 99% of the way through, and then it should be able to just snap it off. That's good. So that would be the work surface. So what did we say? It's going to be 4 inches high. So let's see. Inch on the top. Now, I think that's a little bit overkill. Doesn't really need that. Will that work? Yeah, that'll work. So that would be a side. 2 of those. That would be the side. Yeah. One of the things I like about Centra also is it's easy to mark up and erase. So, 2, mark that at 4, mark that one at 4. Let's see if that's square now. Pretty square. Yep. Within an acceptable, so it's within an acceptable range there. Cutting out curves in these things are a pain in the butt. Let's see how we're fitting. See, we're off a little bit. They'll be square now. I wonder if I shouldn't ought to do that since we want to. Yeah, I'm thinking if I need lips around it, if I need some edging around it, I'll add that later. All right, so I'm looking at it. I think I want to change up the design just a little bit. So I'm looking at, let's see, the height. This would be the height of it. Not the thing, but all right. So I've decided to. So this is 3 inches, right? So that would be 3.5 inches to the top surface, which is what I had originally planned for, and then was adjusting it. But I'm going to go back and just. We're going to force it to be the size I want. So we're going to take 2 of these and trim them down to what essentially would be 3 1/4. Yeah, 3 1/4. Three and a half inches. cannot tell you how useful it is to have a measuring device, ruler, where the end of the ruler starts the beginning of the measurement, as opposed to these where you've got a bit of, doesn't go all the way to the end, so it's hard to, get a boom measurement. I have to, not as useful, not as useful. On these, it's not as important that you get exactly on the line as it is you don't go past the line that way. This way you're fine, you can fix that. So I'm running low on super glue. Need to order some more. Let glue dry. So we've got the other side set up. Put the glue on it now. Should I reset? I'm not going to reset it up. All right. All right. been about 45 minutes, so that should have set really well. Okay. Yeah, that's going to fit on that end. Needs to be, see, planning ahead for the gluing. I think that'll work. So we're going to clamp it that way and put some weight on it that way. All right. Again, 30 minutes. This is what life is like without accelerator. All right, well, that's not had time to completely set, but if we're careful, we can get in here and figure out the next piece. I made it too narrow. Missed by the width of a pencil. Okay. Do I happen to have another scrap piece of Centra that could be appropriately the right size? Look there, I think I do. Yes. Okay. So don't cut up the big piece, let's cut up the scrap. That's okay. Good edges. Clean the super glue off these when I'm done. All right, 30 more minutes. All right, so there be the finished product. This is you know, a little work surface to do things on. And as I progress through some other videos here, I'm sure you'll get to see it in use. Just don't have anything at the moment other than, you know, we can demonstrate. How can we demonstrate this? Giving it a coat of paint and then a clear coat on top of that. It's, again, just a little work surface here. So, you know, put things up closer to my face so while I'm working on them, because if it was down here I'd be like this. Since it's up here, I'm not bent over quite as far, so gives me more surface than this thing did, which is, you know, again, still a nice little useful, but I think this is going to be more useful. yeah, and we'll see if we cannot integrate this into the processes. I don't think it'll have any trouble. It's just gonna be an upgrade from this. So, and I've used that quite a bit, so I think this is gonna be even better. But yeah, just simple little, toss together. This could be made literally. I mean, could be you could make this thing out of cardboard, some MDF, yeah, just some sort of sheet good that's not. If you do out of cardboard, you're going to want to probably double or triple the layers to make it a little more substantial. And I would recommend hot glue, not super glue. Or if you've got time, good old Elmer's glue would work. You just have to kind of let it weigh it down, let it dry. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very useful. So, work on stuff. It's like intricate cutting, that sort of thing. It's not a cutting surface, but it's not going to hurt it to get, beat around a little bit. If you need to makes things easier to get to. And gives you just a better angle on your work. That's just a better angle on your work. From anything from little fine details, drawings. It's just that is superior to that as far as my workflow goes. This is going to be more. This is more comfortable to work here than it is down here. I think that's going to be an excellent addition to the bench. Yeah. So thanks for joining me for this little quickie build, and hey, go make something.